Hi, I'm Dr. Rodrigo Imana.
And I'm Dr. John Demartini.
The manifestation formula I always share with my patients constantly, and I took the liberty to actually add another A, which in this case get an adjustment, get a chiropractic adjustment to to make sure you manifest within first, and then for that to be expressed. Many of my patients always have a lot of transformational experiences after an adjustment, and I have them meditate afterwards. Sometimes they get emotional. You had mentioned a lot of correlations when you were in practice, when people, wasn't just a pain thing, people saw their finances sometimes be influenced by that. And can you elaborate on your experiences with that and recall?
The very first week I opened my practice in 1982, I had a lovely girl who was 27 years old come to my practice. And she was a very, very ambitious financial broker. There was a company called E.F. Hutton at the time, that's who she worked for. She was sitting on a phone with a headset leaning over like this all day. And her neck was literally just spasmed by the end of the day. And she called hundreds of people on a Rolodex and was just sitting there like this, talking to them all day. And she couldn't, function hardly because her neck was just cramped. So I did an examination with her when she came in and told her that she did have problems in her neck because of this. It's literally deforming her neck, and that I could help her. So she came in, I did for a week, and I did adjustments on her. And then she not only felt better, but she noticed that she was performing better at work. And the week that I did that, and the following week, she had the biggest performance she's ever had. So then she disappeared for about a week or two. And after that, and then came back 3 weeks later, about 3 weeks. And she said, Dr. Demartini, is it even remotely possible that your adjustments of the spine can increase the productivity and outcome from my work? And I said, I have seen that over and over again with patients, and without a doubt. And she says, then I would like to not only follow the protocol that you've asked me to do, because I kind of swayed from it, but I realized now that I had my biggest performance, and as the days went on after that, it started going down again. I would like to come in, not just because of my stiffness in the neck, but because I want to increase my performance, because it was a drastic difference. So she became a patient for 34 years now to chiropractors, not just to me, but because she moved to a different city. And she has maximized her performance, and her income tenfolded as a result of the consistent application of chiropractic adjustments. And I moved my office, believe it or not, one floor above hers on the 52nd floor of the same building where she practiced her work for many years. And she was regularly in there, and she came there, and if we found subluxations and bones out of place, irritating nerve causing problems, we adjusted it. If we didn't, we would just refine it. We were using it to monitor her performance, and she came in consistently to maximize her performance. Then I had a lady who was attempting to get pregnant, and no matter what she was doing, it was not working, and they were looking at artificial insemination at the earliest stages when it was not as common as it is today. And they were frustrated because they felt she was expecting herself to get pregnant, but her husband was wanting a natural child, and there was a lot of emotion about it. But she wanted to have a child. And she came in because of her pelvis, there was pain in her pelvis. And I adjusted her for about the first 3 weeks of the care. I actually had her on a more longer term plan. I adjusted her. In the first 3 weeks, her pain levels went down. We repositioned her uterine position because we went through soft tissue and repositioned it. And she was able to get pregnant naturally. That was extremely powerful for her. She felt that she was going to let her husband down if she had to do it artificially. But she felt that she actually was a mother because of chiropractic. And I've seen that. I had another lady who was having blindness coming and going. She'd see and then she'd lose her sight, and see and lose her sight. And we traced it down in the history to every time she was having her period, she would get emotional and her jaw was tightening up and her cranium was tightening up, the muscles were tightening up, and it was causing a change in the gear movement of the skeletal, the bones in the skull. And it was blocking the optic nerve. And what we did is we adjusted her upper cervical spine. We did some cranial work, chiropractic cranial work, relieved some of the tensions in the muscles, helped her perceive some of the stresses that she was having, because as you know, chiropractors also give gems of advice. Right. And she never had any problems with her eyes. And I saw her until I moved to my other office. I saw her for many years. Never had a problem with her eyes again. Her cycles didn't affect it. I've also had a man who had diabetes, and it was severe, and it was advanced. And it was affecting his eyes, it was affecting the ulcerations in his leg, and they were planning on literally amputating one of his legs. And the other one was going to follow suit soon after. They figured within a year they'd have to amputate the other one because it was getting ulcers and it wasn't healing. And I started to, he came into me looking as a last resort, trying everything he could with medicine. It didn't work. And he came to me and he says, "Do you think you can help me?" I says, "I don't know. I've helped a lady who had diabetes before, and she's now functioning, and she kind of recovered from part of it. I don't know. Let's see what we can do." And I put him on a 6-month program. I put him on an exercise program. I put him on a change in diet, and I adjusted him 3 times a week and 2 times a week for all those months. And at the end of 6 months, I couldn't see any real change. And I was about to dismiss him because I didn't feel like I was making a progress. And as I was about to dismiss him, he said, "You're not planning on dismissing me, are you?" And I said, "Well, yes, I am, because I can't feel that it's justified for me to continue if I'm not getting results." And he looked at me, and I won't forget this. He said, "6 months ago, I came into your office, and they were about to remove my legs. That was my prognosis. 6 months later, I still have my legs. Please do not discontinue the care. Please don't discontinue the care." I said, "Okay." Well, in the next 6 months, his legs healed up. And it was my surprise too, because I realized that I really didn't give it a long enough term vision of what it was going to take to get this result. But 6 months later, his legs healed up, and he never had to remove his legs. So when I saw that, I realized that I was probably shortchanging some of my patients by making the care too short. And I allowed myself to serve more people by allowing more extended care and making sure they really got the results. I had a boy who was in a coma, come out of a coma in my hands.
Carlos, yeah.
Carlos. I had a boy who was blind in one eye and also had a deformed leg because of an injury, being thrown 70 feet in the air of a car accident. And we helped him restabilize his pelvis, and he was able to walk and see again. Had another boy that had a paralysis from the neck down, literally quadriplegic. And I saw him walk in my office and move his arms and legs again. So I've had many people. I've had people that had migraines for years, and because of chiropractic, those migraines dissolved. So there's, as you know, amazing things comes in a chiropractic office, and people sometimes come there not as a first resort, sometimes as a last resort. Ideally, it would have been the first resort, but they don't know, they're not educated. But I've seen some amazing things that they consider miraculous. I call it the power of what happens when you adjust the spine. But yeah, some amazing stuff come in. I could go on and on for probably hours about it.
Oh yeah, me too.